Well, today we're talking about changing the rules so that your life can be what you want: work, life, relationships. And I'm talking about changing the rules is because sometimes we don't even realize it that we've set a rule for ourselves a long time ago, maybe, and it affects the results that we're getting. So I'm going to give you an example in a little bit about a rule that I've recently transformed for myself. So when I was in my shamanic training in 2010, I was in a 1-year intensive program where I went to New Mexico like 5 times and had intensive trainings. And some of the teachings were like stuff I've never heard of before. And if you're somebody like me, you can change things or learn ways to change things that you never thought was possible when you work with really powerful people like my shamanic teachers, Lena, Jose, and Anna, the Stevens. And I've seen them in action with these rules. And one of the rules that I have been working for years to change has to do with the horse racing family, with our horses. So in horse racing, in our breed, standardbreds, not thoroughbreds, we race standardbreds. They are they're harnessed and there's a bike connected to them and there's a driver. It's like kind of like a race car driver, but they're driving a horse. And when the race begins, there is 8 horses on a gate, a car that has a gate, a starting gate, and all the horses line up. And then when it starts at the finish line, the gate closes and all the horses try to get to the rail of the track. And they race along the rail, and then they make moves to move up in position. So it is an advantage to have the inside posts. So they're called post positions, and it's 1 to 8, right? And so there was a time when I decided to change the rule. I decided to say this rule: my horses always get the inside post. And I've written this rule down and I've said it in my mind many times. I've meditated on it. My horses always get the inside post. And so I am the trainer of record on the horse. So if you're at the races and you're looking in a program, beside my horse's name is trainer Jennifer Seifert. My dad is also a trainer. And when I set this rule, I was already the trainer of the horse. So, and I actually own the horse, or one of the owners. So the rule was, a couple years ago, my horses always get the inside post. And this is important to remember when you're making new rules for yourself, is that you cannot doubt them. You can't doubt your rules. And even if you think you're not doubting the rule, if other people influence you to doubt the rule, that can affect your rule. You cannot doubt it. You have to be so aligned with that rule that you believe that rule is working for you. So this is rules to create your reality, the life, your living life, your reality, the way you want it. And don't think it can be positive or negative too. So when you are doubting your rule, the opposite seems to happen. And if you believe that when other people say, "Oh, I'm always getting the bad post position. I hope I don't get a bad post position," or that person always gets a better post than me. It affects your rule if you buy into that story. So there was a time for 2 years, and of course, I'm going to tell you that you can do better than me and create a rule that works faster than 2 years. But I had doubt. I had doubt. And I would believe stories, or I would buy into other stories, because you got to understand, this is still operating, horse racing operates in the competitive paradigm, like many things in the world still. And yes, I'm still operating in it, because it also is like an oracle card for me, and it tells me, it gives me feedback on what's going on for me. So for 2 years, guess what post position I was getting? And I was trying to implement this rule of my horses always get inside post 1, 2, 3, not 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. So for 2 years, my horse, Outlaw Gran Torino, his name is, after the car, the Gran Torino, like the movie Clint Eastwood's in. And we would get the 6 hole. I had the 6 hole 80% of the time. 80% of the time. And getting the 6 hole means that you have to work harder to get to the front of the pack when the race starts, when the gate closes. It means you have to go to the back and then come further and make moves to come up the outside to get into a better position to win the race. It also means that you have more road trouble in front of you. You have more horses in front of you to get around. And every time you move off the rail, you have to work harder than the inside. So think about this. How does this affect, how can horse racing, this metaphor, this analogy of working harder because you're on the outside, connect with you? You have to work harder when you're on the outside to win or to finish in a good place. We do this to ourselves all the time. We work harder in order to succeed. So we have to go around things. There's obstacles in our way. We have to make moves that you wouldn't have to make if you're already on the inside. So just connect with that a little bit as a underlying message here in this topic of changing the rules. Wouldn't you prefer to have rules that are operating to make your life easy and effortless? And if you have a doubt come up that that is possible, then changing your rules will be difficult for you. So when you doubt yourself, it interferes with your desire to have a rule in place for your life that works, that operates, that the universe responds to. Because how I understand the universe is that the universe works through us, is within us, it's flowing in and out of us. We are the universe. We're connected to it. It's all connected. And so as soon as you doubt yourself, you're interfering with your rule. So whatever that rule is. So you can use this topic of changing the rules for anything and everything. I'm going to sidebar here and talk about a rule that my shamanic teacher has. So we go to Peru annually and work with plant medicines to become more powerful and to integrate with the consciousness of the plants and bring that medicine back to the people, to home, to work with us and to raise our frequency so that when we're working with clients, it works for them too. And new levels of consciousness and awareness. And so the jungles of Peru can be rainy and muddy and lots of mosquitoes and spiders and bugs when it's rainy. But if it's hot and dry, there's no bugs. So my teacher, Lena, she has this rule that when we go to Mexico, no bugs, no mud. And she has no doubt. She's one of the strongest shamans I've ever met in my life. She has no doubt that her rule is operating. And when you go to Peru with her, there's no bugs and there's no mud. And I love that rule too. I operate with that rule when I'm on the plane and going there. There's no bugs, there's no mud. And it's hot and sunny. And so this thing about aligning with the rule that you're creating and how it can make your life easier so that you can flow and be more effortless in getting what you want, having the life that you want, having the success that you want, instead of having to go around obstacles and, go the snaky way. You can just go straight arrow, be on the inside instead of in the outside post. So, guess what? My rule is now operating effectively. So we started racing in September of this year for this meet. We have meets. And Outlaw Gran Torino, he got the inside post of the 2-hole 4 times in a row. And then I entered another horse, Patterson Park, for a qualifier. Guess what post position we got? The 2-hole. How is that possible that I, as a trainer, entering my horses to race, can get the 2-hole 5 times in a row? It's possible because I now have no doubt about my rule. My horses always get the inside post. And when I was, when I got the third 2-hole position, the night before, or during the entry day, before I knew what post position I was getting, I had a little idea of like, oh, is my rule operating? Can I get the inside post again? And then I just remembered, I am not doubting my rule. My rule is I get the inside post 1, 2, or 3. And lo and behold, when I checked the entries, I got the 2-hole. And again this week, I have an inside post and I'm trailing the 1 horse. So being on the inside, I'm inside this. I'm inside this rule. This rule is operating inside of me. It's like a program in a computer that works efficiently and is getting operating exactly according to the programmer's program. So I'm the program and I am also the software. And the post position is the result of that program operating efficiently. So you can do this. You can change your rules for anything, absolutely everything. So I want to challenge you this week to take something that has not been working for you and make a new rule. Make a new rule about how you want it to work for you. So I will do the same. I will take something and make a new rule. So I do have this other rule, and I'm going to be traveling next week. My other rule is I always have, all my flights are always on time. My flights are always on time. And I believe that rule. And I always get through security easy. I always get through customs easy. Have a great seat. My luggage gets through. I always have flights on time and good travel. That is my rule. And so I'll tune you in. I'm traveling to Denver, to Loveland, Colorado for a level 3 training that I will bring back and teach and help my clients with, use those skills. and resources and pass it along. And I'm expecting my flights will be on time and my travel will be perfect and comfortable, and I'll meet great people. And I have another rule that whenever I go networking, I always line up with the greatest people. I always meet the greatest people when I'm networking. And I encourage you to start small. Like, it took me, the inside post rule, I had a lot of moving parts. There had to be a lot of belief in myself, a belief in my horse, belief in my family, and all these things that could have interfered with my rule for 2 years, right? But as soon, it kept showing me every time I drew the six hole that my rule wasn't operating. So it was like instant feedback, instant feedback, instant feedback. And then now it shows me that my rule is operating and I don't have to doubt it. I don't have to doubt it. And so when my rule is operating correctly, my horses always get the inside post. It benefits everyone in my family. It benefits us financially. It benefits my horse because he doesn't have to work harder than other horses in the race. So you can do this with anything. So are you having a glitch? Are you having any glitches and you need to change the rule? Because there might be something else that is stopping the rule. Like if you can't get out of doubt, if doubt constantly is coming up for you, like I'm always tired. Here's how these rules work, right? You kind of, we unconsciously kind of put them in place, like with doubts and negative self-talk. Oh, I'm always tired every Monday. That's a bad rule. That's a rule that's not going to very helpful. Another rule that isn't helpful is oh, this person always annoys me when I'm around them. Like you can change your rules, and your rule change usually benefits everyone else. It's for the greater good. It's for you, but it's for the greater good as well. So if you're having a glitch in something that's not happening the way you want it to, and you'd like to get some clarity on that, I will put a link in the comments to book a 30-minute breakthrough call with me, and I will help you break through any glitch. I'll give you a tip around changing the rule, because an outside perspective is always beneficial. It helps us to get distance from the issue that is interfering with something that you want to happen, and different perspective. You can get a different perspective that you didn't think of, maybe, because when you're doing personal growth, personal development, or business development, you're in it all the time, and it's hard to get distance from it to see where the operating program isn't working for your best interest. So I'll put that 30-minute breakthrough call in the chat or the comments, and please click a link. I'd love to hear what kind of glitch you're having and how that rule can be tweaked to operate for you. So you're watching Receptive Radio, your tuning station, specifically for coaches, healers, consultants, soulpreneurs, heart-centered entrepreneurs who are making an impact in the world and are helping the evolution of our planet and humanity. So have a great day.